The first Thanksgiving, 400 years of gratitude and history. On an autumn evening in Boston, 10-year-old Anika sat beside her grandfather, gazing out the window. Trees covered in red and yellow leaves seemed to create a colorful dreamscape. "Grandpa," Anika asked, "why do we celebrate Thanksgiving? My teacher said it's 400 years old." Grandpa smiled gently and adjusted his glasses. That's a long and beautiful story. Come, let me tell you that story tonight. Dreams of a New World. The story begins in 1620, Grandpa started. In England, there was a group of people called Pilgrims. They wanted to practice their religion freely, but it wasn't possible in their country. So they decided to go to a completely new world, to America. But Grandpa, how did they get there? On a small ship called the Mayflower. 102 people boarded that ship, men, women, and small children just like you. Among them was little Mary Chilton, who was only 13 years old. Grandpa paused, then continued. It took them 66 days to cross the ocean. Storms, waves, illness, they endured so much, but they didn't give up. They had a dream of freedom. Chapter 2, The Harsh Winter. In November 1620, they arrived in Massachusetts at a place called Plymouth, Grandpa went on. But arriving there, a harsh reality awaited them. Winter was coming. They had very little food, and they needed to build shelters. Anika's eyes widened. What did they do? That first winter was terrible. Bitter cold, snowstorms, disease. Half of the Pilgrims died that winter. Imagine parents watching their children shiver in the cold, unable to help sick friends. But they didn't lose, right, Grandpa? Grandpa shook his head. No, dear. They helped each other, stayed together, and never lost hope. And then, in the spring, an incredible thing happened. A new friendship. One morning, the Pilgrims saw a Native American walking toward them. His name was Samoset, and amazingly, he spoke English. He said, "Welcome." "Wow," Anika exclaimed. "Yes," and then he introduced them to a man named Squanto. Squanto was from the Wampanoag tribe, who had learned English through an incredible story. He had once been kidnapped and taken to England, but he escaped and returned to his homeland. And what did Squanto do? Squanto became the Pilgrims' greatest friend. He taught them how to grow corn. He showed them how to use fish as fertilizer to make crops grow better. He taught them which plants were edible, where to hunt, how to survive in the forest. Grandpa paused, then said, and not just Squanto. The chief of the Wampanoag tribe, Massasoit, also befriended the Pilgrims. They made an agreement to help and protect each other. A festival of gratitude. In the fall of 1621, the Pilgrims saw that their harvest was wonderful. Corn, squash, beans, everything had grown. They realized they could survive the winter this time. "That's when they had Thanksgiving?" Anika asked excitedly. "Yes." Governor William Bradford announced a special celebration. He invited Massasoit and the Wampanoag tribe. And you know what? Many more Native Americans showed up than the Pilgrims who sent the invitation. About 90 people. What did they eat? Grandpa smiled. It was a bit different from today's Thanksgiving. Yes, there was turkey, but there was also deer meat that the Wampanoags brought. There was codfish, oysters, cornbread, squash, and berries. No potatoes or cranberry sauce. Those came later. And most importantly, Grandpa emphasized, it was a 3-day celebration. For 3 days, people from 2 completely different cultures ate together, laughed together, and expressed gratitude together. They prayed together, played sports, and told stories. The 400-year journey. But Grandpa, Anika asked, what happened next? Now we celebrate Thanksgiving every year. Grandpa took a deep breath. The story is complicated, dear. After that first Thanksgiving, the relationship between the Pilgrims and Native Americans wasn't always good. Many sad things happened. But the message of that first celebration, gratitude, coming together, helping each other, that survived. Year after year, in different colonies, people celebrated Thanksgiving, but there was no specific date. Then, in 1863, Abraham Lincoln, who was president then, declared Thanksgiving a national holiday. It was during the Civil War when the country was divided. Lincoln wanted people to unite through gratitude. Today's gratitude. Anika looked thoughtful. But what does Thanksgiving mean today? Grandpa held his granddaughter's hand. Today, Thanksgiving means different things to different people. For some, it's spending time with family. For some, it's expressing gratitude for the good things in our lives. Many remember those Native Americans who lost so much. You know, those of us who came from Bangladesh, we're a kind of pilgrim. We also came to a new country, hoping for new opportunities, and America welcomed us, gave us chances. Anika thought about it. So we should be grateful too? Exactly right. Grateful for our family, for our friends, for those who helped us, and not just on Thanksgiving Day, every day. New traditions. Grandpa, Thanksgiving in our family is a little different, isn't it? Anika asked. Grandpa laughed. Yes, dear. We eat biryani with turkey, our pickles with cranberry sauce. That's the beauty of America. Everyone can add their own traditions to this celebration. That first Thanksgiving was like that too. Two cultures came together, shared their food, shared their stories. We're doing the same thing today. Anika nodded. I understand. So Thanksgiving isn't just history, it's an ongoing story. Exactly right, Grandpa said proudly. And you are part of this story too. When you treat your friends well, when you help someone, when you express gratitude for the good things in your life, you are carrying forward that 400-year tradition. That's why some Native Americans observe Thanksgiving as a national day of mourning, Sarah explained as they walked through the museum. Every year, right here in Plymouth, members of the Wampanoag tribe and their allies gather to honor their ancestors and remind people of the true history. But other Native Americans do celebrate Thanksgiving with their families, choosing to focus on the values of gratitude, harvest, and gathering, traditions their peoples had long before Europeans arrived. There's no single Native American perspective because Native peoples are diverse, with different nations, cultures, and views. Emma was quiet for a moment. So what should we do? The lesson of gratitude. Darkness was falling outside. Lights were glowing from other houses in the distance, where other families were perhaps also preparing for Thanksgiving. Grandpa, Anika said softly, I learned something. What, dear? Thanksgiving isn't just about eating turkey. It's about remembering who helped us in difficult times. It's about remembering that together we can overcome anything. And most importantly, it's about being grateful for what we have and for those who stand beside us. Grandpa hugged his granddaughter. Tears came to his eyes. You understand perfectly, dear. That's the lesson the Pilgrims and Wampanoags taught us in that first Thanksgiving. When people come together, when they help each other, when they're grateful, nothing is impossible. And you know, every Thanksgiving when we sit at the table, when your mother makes Bangladeshi food, when your father roasts the turkey, when we all sit together laughing and telling stories, we're honoring that 400-year tradition. Anika nodded. This time, I'll celebrate Thanksgiving even better. I'll tell this story to my friends at school, too. That's what I want, Grandpa said with a smile. Telling stories, remembering history, but most important, keeping alive that core message of gratitude. Stars were appearing in the night sky. Grandpa and Anika sat by the window, each thinking in their own way about gratitude, about history, and about tomorrow.
Because Thanksgiving isn't just a day, it's a message, a lesson, a promise that we will always be grateful, always help each other, and always have hope for a better tomorrow. And that's how 400 years later, the spirit of that first Thanksgiving lives on, in every family, at every table, in every grateful heart.